Hmm. Crims doesn't know I'm here.
Then I can go res him.
No, I'm gonna do it already.
Damn. Cool.
Thank you.
Teddy?
Let this.
Is that the one and only Teddy in my chat?
No.
Hi, Teddy. How you doing? Oh,
Wait, what did I heal? Do I have a necromancy or something?
yep, yep. I mean, no. Then who is it? Who are you?
It's kind of cool that she's on the opposite side.
Oh
Damn.
yeah, I know.
Always.
Same as always. Yeah, I know. And I'm sick, same as always, for the past 2 months. Yay. I'm good, how are you? I'm good. As good as can be, trying to understand this game, and my head's about to blow.
What is she playing? Divinity Original Sin?
I love that you're using the emotes. Bam! Woo! That did a lot of damage. What the fuck?
I wonder where everybody is.
Yeah, kind of. No? Is he just regenerating or? Oh, I have
Maybe.
extra points now. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Can I go
Yeah, just.
like? I'm gonna take a little risk here. Whoops. Let's. Nope. Go here.
Okay, this thing.
What is?
Nobody, huh? I mean, if not, I'll just go do homework. It's so quiet. This is unusual. Damn, okay. Maybe I won't stream today. We'll see. That's crazy. Usually there's someone in here bugging me by now, but I guess not. Shoot. It's just dead silence. I don't really want to stream to nobody. Huh. I might just end up watching Crimson stream and do schoolwork on my own. Which, fair enough. I mean, nobody really wants to watch me stream. That's perfectly timed. Where is everybody? It's your fault, isn't it, Nats? Where is everyone? It's unusual for no one to show up. Oh, you're about to go to Oregon? Are you excited about it? Is it like a fun trip or like a work trip? Do 1124? Hang on, almost all programming language popular after 1999. All right. Interesting. Okay, I mean that should be pretty straightforward. Oh, that's cool. Who exactly going to go visit? Yeah, I mean Thanksgiving. It depends on your family. Is your family like a little what's the word? Are they really religious? Maybe a little bit conservative compared to you? Does it make it uncomfortable or is there like drama? I mean, you don't have to tell me, but got no one else to talk to, man. You've got a captive audience. Shit, this is going to be a long fucking chapter. Fuck. Hang on, I'm going to go get my tea. I'll be back. When the boys still are warm inside, down the cellar. When Man, that thing is still going. Yep. That's supposed to begin. Well, I mean, it's family though, right? So like, do you have a lot of anxiety related to family? I don't really have much. Wait, what? Hang on. I missed something. Um, but yeah, I don't have a lot of anxiety when it comes to family, but it kind of depends. Oh, okay. So it is kind of like a complex topic, I guess. Man, Crimson is blowing up. She's doing so well for herself. I'm glad. Kind of jealous, but glad. She deserves it. Well, like with me, I'm so used to that now. I mean, it makes me anxious, but it's kind of like a resigned defeat, the futility of the situation. I know what I'm getting into every weekend. I know what to expect, that it's going to suck. And there's not a whole lot that I can really do about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, how am I supposed to? I just have to do it. For you, though, I'm sure it's a lot less common. The violent at how old is this nephew? I'm looking. That is actually exactly correct. That is how you do that. That is how you do that. If you absolutely must restrain an individual, a large, like a beach towel or a blanket is best. It does not always work, and you are putting yourself in danger when you do it, but you can absolutely do that. I've had to do it before. When someone is so bad that they are going to hurt themselves or someone else potentially severely, then you have to. Like, what is your choice there? You're not really supposed to restrain people unless it's like an emergency like situation, though. But yeah, like if your choice is okay, this person's gonna break their hand on a 2x4 because they're punching holes in the walls, or they just have to be, frustrated for a minute wrapped in a blanket. Yeah, obviously, wrap them in a blanket because the alternative could be really bad. I've had clients that were like that would actually, like, they would very really hurt you or someone else, and not like purposefully or well, maybe purposefully, but not necessarily maliciously. It's uncontrollable behavior, not a compulsion, more like an inability to suppress the impulse to act on violent thoughts. I've seen it a lot. I've got one right now that's real bad to hurt themselves. They bite their wrists and they punch themselves legitimately. It is actually wild to see. Mostly their legs, though, but real hard, and screaming at the top of their lungs the whole time. It's really sad. He's pretty. That one is actually pretty easily redirected, though. He's the type of guy that snacks usually work. It's literally as simple as like, listen, I can't give you a snack if you're punching yourself. Sorry. Or separating them from stimuli is another one. I don't know if that'll work with him. But sometimes you have to put them in the equivalent of a sensory room, a place that is fairly dim, that doesn't have any sound, that doesn't have any stimulus, nothing in there. Sort of like timeout. Like, listen, go hang out and breathe. Go chill. It works. Yeah, I mean, dude, if no one shows up in here, I'm just gonna do homework on my own. Yeah, we call them sensory rooms. Sensory rooms as a kind of timeout really does work. It's harder at first because they won't want to do it, but you will find, at least not all the time, but a lot of the time, that they won't necessarily put themselves in timeout, but they won't fight you to do it because I guess it's like drinking alcohol. It tastes bad, but your brain associates it with the feeling after a while, so you learn to appreciate the taste of like a beer and liquor and stuff because your brain makes that association. Even if they're not very high functioning, if they realize, I go in this room and I hang out for a minute and I come out feeling better enough times, you sort of Pavlov them into timing themselves out. And now it's gotten to a point where if my person isn't especially angry, they'll just stop whatever they're doing. Because I'll be like, listen, buddy, do you need to go in your room and maybe take a moment to calm down? And he doesn't talk a lot, but he'll straight up be like, no. I'm like, okay, well, enjoy your tablet. I'll make you a snack or something. And sometimes they start again. Most of the time, no, or at least not immediately. The one that I'm taking care of, it's pretty constant, about every 2 hours or so. But it's also just a sad case of like just a bad life. It happens. It's also a hard time of year. I think this will be their first Christmas. And that bums me out because if their family doesn't show, that's a shame. I'm also going to have to work on getting them stuff for Christmas. I got to be careful about how much I say, but this person will straight up wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning, start crying, and then come out in the living room and will just say, mommy and daddy, go home. Go home, crying. And it's like, I can't take you home. I'm sorry that your mommy and daddy aren't here. It's fucked up. It's still not the worst I've ever seen, but it's bad enough that, it's depressing, especially because they do frustrate you. You have anybody with extreme behaviors, you take care of them. They are going to get under your skin at some point. You cannot spend 48 hours with a person that's trying to beat the hell out of you and not get pissed. It's how you behave. You know what I mean? Dude, I can be so incredibly angry and not do anything, or not do anything brash, because I'm just used to it. It's not fun. It sucks really, really badly. But a lot of it is just logical. It's like, well, this person is upset because of things they can't control. And those things would upset anybody. So I can't be mad at them for being upset. And they don't have the ability to stop themselves like other people do. So I can't even really be mad at them for the things that they do when they're upset. I just have to find a way to catch it before it happens. Right, if possible, or redirect when it happens. Catching it before it happens, it requires recognizing what are called antecedent behavior. So it's a cool sounding word. It just means the things they do before they start acting out. That is the biggest thing. Like if your nephew lives with family, they need to document what happens before he gets violent. What happens? So like, not just the things that will maybe cause it, like, oh, they didn't get their preferred food or whatever, but the way they behave. Do they start pacing? They say a particular phrase? What are the things that they do before it gets bad? Man, recognizing those will make your job so much easier because you'll know before it happens what they're going to do. That's a huge one. It's different for every person, and some people don't have obvious ones. Some people with like explosive behaviors just out of nowhere. Sorry, I'm just kind of bullshitting until someone shows up. If no one shows up, I'm probably just going to do homework on my own. I don't want to do that. I want to hang out, but yeah. Extras in VR chat. Sluty says he's playing Half-Life 2, but that's not true. He was in Crimson stream. Wow, Alfred is off. Brant is off. Sigourna's off. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I'll hang out for a minute. I'll give it I don't know, another 12 or maybe 17 minutes. Yeah. I do not want her to raid me, though. That's what I'm worried about. I don't want that to happen. I don't mind being raided. I know it sounds like I complain about that a lot, but I'm going to be doing homework. They're going to be bored shitless. They don't want to see me do homework. What I'll probably do is just jump off here and go live in Discord instead. And then I can actually talk to you guys. Fuck it. You know what I mean? I might just do that. Welp. Can I change the name? Update titles. Well. All right. I guess I'll just jump into a Discord. When are you leaving for Oregon? You're pretty soon? Like in the next hour or something? "45 minutes." Yeah, okay. Yeah, I need to pay attention to... Hang on. That didn't type that, did it? No, not me. Fucking commercials. Oh, I was about to end stream. No one showed up. Well, I mean, that I keep saying that, but Nat showed up. And I'm kind of trying to dodge getting raided because I'm going to do homework. So I'll probably just go into Discord or something. I don't want to wait too long because I really do have to do homework. I have no choice. Like I got to get it done. Got to do as much as I can this weekend anyway. I'm gonna check my email, see if my professor ever... Man. Oh. Yeah, viewership's been a little skimpy lately. Last night was okay. But it's interesting because some people that I haven't seen in a long time have started to show up, and then people that are regulars haven't been. So I don't know what's going on with that. Yeah, I have a deadline on a discussion that I missed. By the way, I didn't see this until now. I'm glad that I saw it. Because I missed it. I hope I'm not in like deep shit for this. But it says that classes and object-oriented programming, almost all programming languages, it's just, what are the difference between procedural and object-oriented? But I have to look that up because I haven't really done procedural. All I know is that in procedural, what we would call objects and functions are separated a little bit. So like you have the things, and then you have what the things do as separate. And then you actually have a cleaner version of that nowadays, which would be entity component system, which is it's separated into 3. Yeah, but I only know like the overview of that. Because I haven't really ever done any procedural programming. Pretty much everything I've programmed in has been object-oriented. That's an interesting question because it's like, for those of you that were coding in 1990, you know what I mean? How many people do procedural programming these days? Unless you're doing C, and even C can be done in an object-oriented way. Yeah, but I think that most C nowadays is done in an object-oriented way. It literally is. Do you separate like all of your objects and all of your functions into two separate things? No. Most people that do C nowadays, unless I guess you're doing like operating systems or something, you're going to be doing it in an object-oriented way because it's a paradigm, right? You can write code functionally, you can write it procedurally, or you can write it object-orientedly, which is a fucking word. So I think that, yeah, that's the thing I don't really understand. That's also like a weird comparison to make. I feel like having somebody look into functional would be a bigger contrast. Because there are languages that are totally functional, that it's almost impossible to, I wouldn't say almost impossible, but they are absolutely not geared toward object-oriented like Haskell or Lisp, right? So, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to give it about 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to jump off here probably and jump into Discord, see if anybody else shows up. Because I can't waste any more time. I actually have to do this work. So if you guys want to jump into the Discord and hang out with me while I'm working, that's fine. I'm gonna read a chapter. It looks like it's gonna be a fucking long one. And try to get as many of these assignments that I can do tonight done tonight. Sure, that's fair. That's fair. But what I mean is that you can encapsulate things in C, kind of, using methods. Which are they called methods, or are they called functions in C? I don't even know. But polymorphism is a big one. Polymorphism is a big one. So I guess you are kind of right. See, classes and objects are at the root of object-oriented though. So I guess you're right. What I mean is that you can still, to a degree, approach. That actually makes it hard to justify. Because in this case, your functions are the objects metaphorically, but not literally. Right? So you actually have a valid point there. Yeah, right. You can in the style, but the fact that it lacks classes and objects is a big argument against what I said. It's a very solid argument. The fact that it actually lacks objects is kind of... right? But you could still have reusable methods, but you don't have polymorphism, which means that you can't like do especially tricky things with those methods. I'm curious, is polymorphism in functional languages? It was to be a more object-oriented approach to C, I believe. Yeah, it has classes and objects. So yeah, it is an object-oriented C, I guess. Hang on. That's interesting. I need to do a functional language. I need to do a functional language and then something like Rust, which is what, Floop? It's like a functional object-oriented language. I'm curious about entity component systems because I actually prefer it to traditional classes and objects in stylistically speaking. Because I guess that sort of harkens back to C. The composition of a larger set of code, it seems to me, would be easier to understand. Because you have like objects and then properties you would apply to the object and then the systems that make those properties, right? So you have the entities, the components, and the systems. And that actually does seem like, from a composition standpoint, to be really nice, that an object is basically just a name and an ID. And then you have properties that that object is capable of becoming, and the way it becomes those properties are via systems or components, right? Components of it. And because it's broken up like that, it produces a lot more smaller files, it seems like. Like if you were to do that in like a game design approach, like your player character would just be like a class name with maybe some kind of other ID or tag, right? And then all the abilities of that character, right? Like running, for instance, where you're adding velocity to the character, your component, I believe, if I understand it correctly, would literally just have a set like max velocity, right? And then the system would add that velocity over time to the tagged player. So it's split across 3. But the great thing about that is that velocity, right, which is just a number, can be applied to anything and in any different way. So you could also have, say, an animation that just has a similar sized integer or whatever for some kind of animation to take place on anything. Backgrounds, other characters, the fucking, the start screen, whatever it is. And then you just have a system call that component and use that component with a different entity, right? So you can reuse everything. Everything is even more modular and more reusable even than an object-oriented, where the entity, its properties, and the systems that change those properties are all clumped together in classes and objects. So actually breaking those up actually seems interesting to me. I also like it. I kind of like it because it makes everything very bite-sized. It's hard to get lost in the sauce so much, but I've never done it on anything big. I've only ever kind of played with it, and I don't know Rust. Rust would be the way to do it. Rust would be the way to learn that. Like Rust and Bevy. But yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna jump off here. All right, I think I'm gonna jump off here and just jump in Discord. I'm gonna start doing homework. So I'm gonna update the names to bug everybody. If that was, what was that? Did you just send an empty